Parliament approves supplementary funding. Too low pulls out. And government passes new oil laws. I am Enrico Bulford, and this is Uncut News. Do you see news happening? Send us a tip on WhatsApp at 592-659-6151. Following a 12-hour-long debate in the National Assembly, on Wednesday, $61 billion was approved, taking this year's budget to $874 billion, meaning that the total supplementary funds sought by the government for this year thus far totals $92 billion. This sum includes allocations for current and capital projects, with notable provisions for the Office of the Prime Minister, the Ministry of Public Works, the Ministry of Education and Amerindian Affairs, as well as Culture, Youth and Sport, and the Defense Force, the Health Sector, the Agriculture Ministry, and the Ministry of Home Affairs. And out of that amount, the government has allocated an additional $1.5 billion to Guy Succo. The Agriculture Minister reported that a 14% increase in sugar production occurred, and they have plans to reopen the Rose Hall estate this year. However, even with the billions pumped into Guy Succo for this year, the minister has not ruled out needing more funds by year's end. The Mayor and City Council of Georgetown is in urgent need of finances to run the city for the rest of the year, but with no financial audit done in over a decade and no budget for this year, bringing in resources is a tedious task for the Finance Committee. The newly elected PPP councillors are prioritizing resolving the major issue as part of their move to ensure accountability at City Hall and plan to appeal to the relevant ministries for assistance. The lack of accountability and transparency needs to be addressed, and new measures such as online payment of rates and taxes should be implemented for easy accessibility of records. The Guyana Public Service Cooperative Credit Union will hold a special general meeting on September the 10th to elect a new Committee of Management, in accordance with a High Court decision from last year. The meeting will be held virtually and in person with polling stations set up in all 10 administrative regions. The agenda includes a motion to recall the current Committee of Management and to bar 9 serving members from seeking re-election. Despite recent concerns voiced by the local business community, as well as a recent travel warning from the US government, the president maintains that crime in Guyana is actually on the decline. The president cited statistics from the police force which indicate a decline in criminal activity, although he acknowledged that the issue of guns in the region needs to be addressed. The government is working to modernize the police force, increase its manpower, and construct police outposts to support community policing groups. However, the effectiveness of this program thus far is debatable, to say the least. The Commission of Inquiry for the Mardia Secondary School Dormitory fire has been sworn in. The commission, led by retired military Chief of Staff Major General Joe Singh, will visit the scene of the fire and is expected to conclude its work within 2 months, offering recommendations and observations. The fire has been classified as an act of arson, and a 15-year-old girl is currently facing 20 murder charges in relation to the incident.
Attention truck owners. Between potholes, bad drivers, and high fuel prices, you've got 99 problems to deal with. But with Powered Automotive, your engine ain't one. That's because they stock high-quality parts and spares you need at prices you can't beat. Visit them at Lot 491 EE Eccles, or call or WhatsApp them at telephone number 697017. Save big on truck parts at Powered Automotive, the #1 heavy-duty truck parts store in Guyana. Tired of waiting on hold, tracking down a delivery driver, or carrying cash for your food orders? GT Eat is here to make your life easier. Guyana's first cashless food ordering and delivery app. Choose from Georgetown's top restaurants, pay securely with your card, and get your food delivered right to your doorstep. With the convenience of being able to order from your phone and the added feature of tracking your order, GT Eats is the ultimate solution for all your food needs. Download the app on Apple and Android stores and start ordering the easy way today.
3 suspects have been arrested in connection with an armed robbery of a security guard on the East Bank. The suspects, who were part of a group of 4, were identified as Andy Budan, Daniel Singh, and Michael Patraj, and a number of stolen items were recovered from them. The 4th accomplice is still missing, and an investigation is ongoing. The police have arrested 28-year-old laborer Ivan Dash for allegedly shooting and killing an injured horse in Virgin East Bank, Essequibo. Dash claimed that the horse's back leg fell through a bridge, causing severe injuries, and he shot the horse in the head to end its suffering. He later burnt the carcass. Dash does not own a firearm nor a license, and he claimed that he borrowed the firearm from a friend who is a licensed firearm holder. However, the friend denied giving anyone his licensed firearm. The gun and Dash are currently in police custody. Now for today's oil update. British oil company Tullow is selling its total interest in Tullow Guyana and the Orunduc license to Echo Guyana Oil and Gas due to poor returns from its efforts in the offshore Orunduc block over the past several years. Tullow drilled 2 exploration wells in 2019, which yielded uncommercial oil discoveries, but the terms of their transaction allowed Tullow to retain exposure to any potential future successes in the region. The transaction includes an upfront cash payment of US $700,000 and contingent consideration linked to future milestones and is expected to occur in the second half of 2023. In other oil-related news, the Petroleum Activities Bill was passed in the National Assembly, replacing the Petroleum Exploration and Production Act of 1986. The new bill expands the scope of the act to include midstream activities such as transportation and storage of hydrocarbons, and takes into account the environment by reducing carbon dioxide emissions. The opposition had submitted over 30 amendments and recommendations, but the bill was passed without changes despite criticisms from the opposition regarding the concentration of power in the hands of the Minister of Natural Resources and the lack of provisions for labor, local content, and indigenous people's rights, as well as the severe lack of parliamentary oversight.
It might not be robbery season, but the streets are still mean. That's why you need to get security for your home and business through Sheriff Security Service. Sheriff Security offers well-trained guards, armed and unarmed patrol, marine patrol, canine services. These people even got drones. Why? Because your security is their highest priority. You've seen the rest, now hire the best. Hire Sheriff Security Service today.
Now for our Uncut News, Viewer's Poll Question of the Day. Every day we pose a question about current events in Ghana, the region, the diaspora, and how you feel it place was. In our previous episode, I asked about the raising of the debt ceiling, as well as the supplementary funding, and how do you feel about it?
But before we get to that, I'm proud to announce our latest addition to the Noble Army, Richard Singh, who is supporting us at the reporter level, the highest level of monthly support we've received so far. So thank you, Richard Singh. And also, a special thank you to David Griffith, Dion Nascimento, Project Zero, and Dimitri V. I appreciate you all. And if you're watching at home and you'd like to support our movement, just hit the link in the video description.
5 Race says think about it. Before oil, our debt was high. Now the government is raising the debt ceiling. LOL, we were serving our debt just fine and our dollar was 200 to 1 USD. And now we get oil, and instead of paying our debt and trying to increase our currency strength and build our economy the right way, the government puts in place development projects so they can launder our oil money to their friends, families, and supporters. At the end of the day, our country will be in so much debt when the oil is finished. Another Haiti on the rise. Scary. Well, that's a scary prediction of yours, indeed. Davy Samaru says, borrowing money to pay back is always a good thing because of inflation. Businesses do that all the time, but when a country is relying on oil as its sole source to repay their loan, that's risky. Just look at what happened to our neighbor Venezuela. What happens if we have a large oil spill before 2030? It's Ghana that has to bear the burden, thus making us more vulnerable. Indeed. Meanwhile, dopamine says 60 million, that's 60 billion, nonetheless, that is sweetie money for Ghana's oil wealth fund. In a few years, we won't even know what to do with all the money we're going to get pumping in. Big Dubai. I hope you're correct. And finally, Randy J says this government is off its rockers. They're out of control. 61 billion? My gosh. Indeed. Now for tonight's question. You know, I don't only like to complain, I also like to give good suggestions. So with that being said, I want to know, what do you believe are some practical ways our government can fight inflation? The United States and the European Union is raising interest rates, but I want to know, what should we do? I want you to think about that question. Tell us in the comments below. If your response is good enough, we just might feature it in our next episode. Anyway, that's all the time we have for tonight, and check us out tomorrow for another. Until then, I'm Rico Bolford saying good night, folks.